is based in Sandefjord, Norway. So we're a Norwegian technology company that is established in 2012 with some of the veterans from the industry. And since then, we have been developing, doing production and the quality control, all based in Norway, Sandefjord. And since 2012 until now, we're operating sales in about 60 countries and regions worldwide. And also we're doing support and services together with our regional partners. And BeamCast is one of them, of course, in the Middle East region. This is what we do. So what is Barnfind focus? What we do actually is very simple. We're transmitting and receiving signals, opto signals. So Barnfind is a Norwegian company. What we do is that we want to keep the core information and the core technology to have a Norwegian touch based on our experience and technologies. And Norway, as some of you might know or might not know, Norwegian broadcasting technology has been one of the leading technology in the world for a very long time. We have a lot of good companies in this industry. So what we take is that we take electrical signals and convert them to optical signals and transport them over fiber and convert them back again. This is what we do. So a very important point is that the signal transport is transparent. We don't want to unnecessarily process the signal or introduce latency. By transporting the signal, it's only part of the story. We also monitor the optical connection, multiplex several signals onto the same fiber, and also provide tools for inspecting and troubleshooting fiber. So we give a quite complete solution for your fiber optical requirement. And those signals don't necessarily have to be the same type. That flexibility is an important part of the Barnfind concept. Okay, next page. So from now, I will pass the podium to Ariel, who will start the introduction of the products.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me well. Now I will try to manage the PowerPoint. I will do some live demo with some software and the Barn Doctors. I will need to manage all the windows. So bear with me if I mix it a little bit wrong. As Elaine introduced us, Barnfind is doing optical transmission. Mainly, we also do copper transmission and copper switching and many other things, but our focus is optical transmission. So I just want to open by saying some words about optical transmission compared to transmission in copper or in coaxial cables, Cat5 cables, any other cable than copper. First, the obvious difference is the cost, weight, and volume. If you carry around for hundreds of meters of copper, you will know that this is a very heavy thing to carry. It will take space. You need to transport it to your event, to your stadium, to your stage. It's much easier to handle fiber. The cost is one thing. I know I don't know the prices of copper cables, but I know they are expensive compared to fibers, depending on the quality. Another bigger advantage is the transmission distance. If you are running a high bandwidth signal, for example, 12G SDI, you can probably go 20 meters before the signal is corrupted and no longer valid and inside the standards. Same signal could pass maybe 20, 40, 60 kilometers in a fiber cable. So the sooner you can convert it to fiber, better it is. And with higher bandwidth, there's almost no limit how high bandwidth you can run through a fiber cable. Compared to copper, you can run probably high bandwidth, but for a very, very short distance. The main advantage, which is also the main focus for Barnfind, is that we can run multiple signals in one fiber. And as Elaine mentioned, these can also be different signals, different formats, different bandwidth in the same fiber. So running 10, 16, 18 signals in a fiber is no problem at all, as long as we multiplex them. And even better, you can run signals in both directions on the same fiber. So there's a lot of advantage of using fiber compared to copper. There are some disadvantages as well, and I will come back to that later when we talk about fiber inspection and the Barn Doctor products, but we leave it with the advantage from now. Just to start to introduce the Barnfind products, I have made the simplest way of converting an electrical signal into an optical signal. So just straight from a camera into a Barn Mini 11, which is a converter from electrical signals to an SFP port. And this SFP port is normally an optical SFP. So I can run the signal on one fiber, maybe just in-house, from building to building, from front of house to the stage, or on the stadium, or to the neighbor city on the fiber, and with no latency and no loss. And in the other end, I can do the opposite. I can convert from the optical to the electrical camera again. So this is the easiest way to convert, and this is one of our products, Barn Mini 11, which is a very popular product. So this is just to show you the easiest way of conversion. Talking about Barn Mini, they comes in many different flavors. They are point-to-point boxes where you can use one by one to communicate with each other, or you can set them up in a system if you want a more complex system. Different versions, we can send Italian GPIOs over fiber, all the SDI standards from HD to 12G, ASI and MADI. Most of the used signals that is common in broadcast and pro AV industry we are covering. In addition to that, we have Barn Minis that is taking care of optical changeover if you want to make a redundant line. We have small multiplexers and we have splitters. So they can all be combined into making a more complex system. And if you want to use many of them in the same spot, you can house them with a mini housing that can take 16 Barn Minis powered up with one power supply and an optional redundant power supply. I just want to say a few more words about the Barn Mini 22, which is a little bit special. This is sometimes called the Norwegian Army knife because it's small and can do a lot of things. It's an SFP to SFP converter. So it depends totally what kind of SFP you add in that will give you the functionality. You can add in SFPs so you can convert from single mode to multi-mode. You can convert from 1310 wavelength to any CWDM wavelength if you want to multiplex them. You can also use special SFPs. We have SFPs with E connectors. We have SFPs with HDMI connector. We can even use an SFP with 2110 encoder or decoder. So the combination of two SFPs can convert from anything to anything else. There we go. So this is the Barn Mini series. They are made in a very solid material, and they are working in all kind of temperatures, in the heat of Middle East to the cold of North and Norway. So it's a very solid product. Skipping over to the next product in our product line is the Barn One, which is a much more complex product. It's also based on SFPs. So you can use the same SFPs, the optical SFPs or the HDMI SFPs, SFPs with 21 encoder, and you can insert any kind of signal to this Barn One frame. It has a 32 input and a 32 output router inside, or a matrix. This allows you to bring in any signal and distribute it to any output. So I can insert an optical SDI signal and I can distribute it out on maybe two different HDMI SFPs. For example, this is the same as the Barn Mini 22, full flexible, and you can add in the SFPs you need to use for that job. It is totally transparent. It will not process the signal in any way. That means it will not add in any latency to the signal. So when you transmit it, it is speed of light. Transparent means also that it can take all the signals from a very low bitrate up to 12G per port. So you can add in SDI, Ethernet, ASI, MADI, HDMI, whatever kind of signal into the same frame and distribute it. I will, if I can manage, to just show you how the software looks like. This is a Barn Studio. I'm actually running a live frame in the production now. So you can see my inputs here on the left and my outputs here. So I have a signal coming in on input port 2. It's a SDI 12G signal. So I can just distribute it to any output I want. So I can maybe use one of the ports to have a HDMI monitoring, and I can convert the next port to be a CWDM multiplexer and transmit it to another place. Full flexibility. Let me go back to... we have GPI ports, GPIO, so it can also transmit and control tally flows. We have a studio, which is specially made for this product, but you can also use it towards other management systems. Most of the common used management systems are compatible. As a small example, how you can set up Barn1 frame, just a frame-to-frame configuration. If I have a 2110 signal coming, I need to transport a reference signal. I have a few Ethernet and a bunch of SDI. I can just put all the signals into the frame, configure my cross points, send them to a multiplexer, and transmit it, of course, in one fiber to the destination, which could be the neighbor room, or it could be 10 kilometers away. So this is the Barn1 series. I will come back to Barn1 a little bit later when we combine all the products together. But so far, if no questions, I will leave it like this. When we started Barnfind, there's a question.
Hello, yes.
Yes.
I would like to ask about this component. Is this only a multiplexer, or we can call it a mixer? Can we use it for the production propose? And does it need another maybe equipment or something?
No, I mean, the multiplexer you refer to, it's an external unit, or it could be built in. It's a little bit up to you how you order it. And this is a switcher that can easily and perfectly be used in a production. This is the most common way to use this unit, actually.
Perfect, thank you.
When we started Barnfind some years ago, the Barn1 was actually the first product we introduced because we want to make the most flexible frame that could take any signal, and we could base it on SFPs, so you can change the use of it from day to day, and give it a software that it's solid, that always works. And you can do all the crosspoint settings. But we learned when we got introduced to the Pro AV market that, well, I just want to transport my signals. I don't need the crosspoints. I just want to do it simple as possible. Transport my signals from A to B. How can I do that? So we introduced a new product line, Barn Color. And the idea was that you as an operator, as a system integrator, don't need to think about anything. You just need to plug the box and connect the fiber and leave it. And the signal transmission will be taken care of. So the first box we introduced was the one you can see in the picture. It's a Barn Color 4x12G SDI. There's also a 3G version, by the way. This unit has 4 input and 4 output. And if you have a pair of them, you will have 4 input and 4 output on each side with a pair of single mode fiber between. And the distance could be anything from 0 to 10 kilometers. It will take all the signals up to 12G SDI, 3G SDI, 6G SDI, HD, and also MADI and ASI, because it looks and behaves like an SDI signal. So if you have a pair of green barn colors, like you see in the screen, connect them together, you have 4 input, 4 output on each side. But the concept with barn color is that you maybe will need to add more signals. And that's why the name is Barn Color. All the products are made in 4 different colors, green, purple, red, and blue. So what you can do is to just cascade or daisy chain them together. So you can add a new color and you will get 4 in, 4 out extra. Add a new color, another 4 inputs, another 4 outputs. So the maximum of 4 colors gives you 16 inputs and 16 outputs when they are connected together just with a short fiber loop. And all the signals goes into the same pair of single mode fiber, 0 to 10 kilometers. When I say you can daisy chain them, you can also spread them out. So there can be some distance. They don't necessarily not need to be in the same rack. So you can spread them out on a stadium, on a stage, in different rooms in a building, and just collect all the signals into the single mode fiber. So you can customize your stage box depending on how many signals you want. This is the SDI version, but it comes in many different versions. And just let me say again, they all come in 4 different colors. All the available models comes in 4 different colors. So I've already talked about the SDI, 4 in, 4 out. Let's put on the laser here. Another one is the Ethernet, 4 separated Ethernet lines with PoE. Comes in 4 different colors, so they can also be inside that chain. This is a 4 times 1 gigabit Ethernet lines. You can perfectly use it for running Dante or Ravenna or any other audio over internet or IP systems. Use it for your NDI or your PTZ cameras or your KVM system.
Hi, sir.
We also just got recommended by Sennheiser using for their microphone system if you want to add some distance between the source and the destination. I'll just zoom a little bit here. HDMI comes in 4 different colors. This is a native HDMI, perfectly used for the stage when you have odd resolutions or aspect ratios, where you probably have a very high or low but wide picture. The thing with the native is that it will transmit the signal exactly as the source is. So you will receive exactly the same signal. There is no compression. There is no scaling of the picture at all. It's totally native through the transmission line, optical. So the transmission is 18 gig HDMI 2.0 native. The last color is the flex, which is a little bit special. Similar to the Barn Mini 22, if you remember. It depends totally on the SFP you put in. So this is a 10 or 12G unit. And you can add the SFP. For example, you can put an SFP in port number 1 with the multimode to communicate with your audio mixer. You can add another SFP for Ethernet, 10G Ethernet, and maybe a BNC connector on port 3. And what about a 2110 encoder in port 4? It's all up to the user, and it can be changed every day, depending on the SFP you put inside. Any questions about that? In addition to barn color, there is another series called barn palette. It's the same form factor, it's the same mechanics, they look similar. The difference is that these are not colored, but they can perfectly add in to the barn color chain or the daisy chain. Or they can be used separately with other equipment or as a standalone product. We have a barn palette MADI, which is actually a analog audio, 8 in, 8 out, or a AES. It's all up to you. It's a full audio routing inside, and you can, because the signal being converted to MADI, you can add it into a MADI chain, and you can cascade these units to make a full 64 in, 64 out MADI transmission. We have a barn palette flow, which is an encoder decoder. It's the same box, just select in the menu. Converting 12G SDI or 3G SDI to 2110, and also including a JPEG XS compression. So you can select the bandwidth you want to transmit. Barn palette OCS is a changeover, is a, I would say, an intelligent changeover. It's made to make a redundant fiber path between the source and the destination. So you can have redundancy in case there's a broken fiber, broken connector. Well, anything can happen in a live event. So it will automatically sense that something is wrong and change over to the redundancy path. No need to monitor it or to do an active changeover. It will automatically sense it and change it. Barn palette Max 18 is a new unit, and I will not talk so much about it now because I will come back to it very soon in an example. So, but it is a multiplexer, demultiplexer. So it's a interface between the signals from barn colors to a separate channel in out. So you can be used with barn 1 frames or any other optical units. I will come back to that one. But first I want to give an example how you can set up a stage box using barn colors. So this is just one example of a full colored cascade, and even with the redundancy switch. I have a purple unit, red unit, green unit, and a blue unit, and they are in different models. I could, of course, replace the red Ethernet unit with another SDI unit. So I have 2 SDI units, but there are endless of combination how you want to set up your signal. It all depends on what signals you need. Any questions about the barn colors? Then I just want to add in that all the signals you see here goes into the same fiber pair. The transmission distance is up to 10 kilometers for all the signals, and there's no latency. Because we are not compressing, we are not processing the signals at all. It's always transparent. It gives no latency, just speed of light. So what if we combine all the products that we have talked about so far and combine it into one ecosystem? I tried to just make an example here, but it could be totally different depending on how you want it. So I have a MCR, a main control room, and I have a stage, and I have 2 other rooms somewhere else. In those 2 other rooms, I have a signal and I have a monitor that I want to distribute to the stage. So I use Barn Minis up there. For the stage, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. For the stage, I have just a random selection of barn colors. Some Ethernet for the Dante audio. I have some SDI for the screens behind. I added in a flex for some more Ethernet and HDMI. Those signals connected with a Neutrik optical comm duo goes into a fiber pair, some distance into the MCR. And at the MCR, I can use my Barn Palette Max 18 to demultiplex all the signals. So now I have separate channels for inputs and outputs. And those can be connected to Barn 1 frames together with all the extra functionalities that gives you. So now I have full routing, input, output, full monitoring of all the signals happening on the stage and in the room. I have a question here.
Yes, we were just wondering if it's possible to use at least the barn colors on DC power, like for remote productions that wouldn't have access to electricity.
I can only say we are working on it.
Great.
It will be possible very, very soon. So we are
Great.
working on a new edition where everything will be redundant with 12 voltage DC as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
So full flexibility with the Barn 1, with the Barn Studio. And personally, when I have this setup, working with this setup, I also use Elgato Stream Deck control panel so I can make my cross points and presets before the show starts. So it's much easier to operate, just making salvos on the buttons. I will send the signals for monitoring into room 2, and I can bring out signals for recording in the MCR, add new signals into the stage, full flexibility on the ecosystem. So this is a combination of all the products. Yes, Mr. Tarek.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the protocols that used to control the system. Which kind of protocols? Like if I have VSM system or something, I can be able to control.
If I just switch over to my Barn Studio and so if you see, I'm not sure if you are able to read what's here now, but these are all the control system that is default that you can select. So default is Blackmagic Design, the Video Hub control panels. Ember Plus, which will probably take care of your VSM system. What else? Open Gear dashboard, SNMP, the good old SWP08 protocol, and Telnet. And if there are any other protocols that we do not cover, let us know. It's easy for us to implement new.
Thank you.
So
One more question.
one more question.
Yeah, hi. I was just wondering, what's the advantage of using to connect the barn kernels together instead of using barn one, for example?
I understand your question. You could, of course, replace the stage 1 with another barn 1 frame. But I would say it's a much easier way for your operators to use barn colors, because they don't need to think about any software or configuration or anything. They will just get the signal as it is on the connector they've been told to find the signal. Yes, but the answer is yes, you could replace it with a barn 1 frame, but using barn color makes it less complex.
Great, thank you.
One more.
Yeah. In band one, let's say, is it like one-to-one SDI connectivity? Because I can see that this fiber would be connected to this gray frame. I don't know, Mux 18 frame, and then we just have to select the output on band colors.
Yeah. Let me just try this laser again. Let's say, just as an example and answer to your question, I have a signal coming in. Do you see my laser?
Yeah.
On the input 1 on the green unit. This is an input. So let's say I have a camera on the stage. This will be transferred through the optics into the barn mux. And as you can see, the barn mux 18 is also color coded. So now I know that I will get this signal on the output 1 on the green section of the multiplexer. I can add it to 1 frame, and I can route it to somewhere where I want to see the camera, and I can bring another signal into the green one and on the output green. So I can also send one signal from the input 1 green and bring it out here on the output 3 on the red one. So everything goes to the main control, being demultiplexed, processed with the cross points distributed, and you can send it back to the stage, back to the room 1 and 2, and get it wherever you want it.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that answer to your question?
Yes. Yes.
So if no other questions, I will go on to the next chapter, which is a little bit different. It's about handling fiber, inspection of fiber, and using fiber the correct way. Just a little story from Barnfind. We are a manufacturer of equipment, of course, for optical equipment. And I can see the frustration when an operator goes out having an event, could be a concert, could be a festival or a conference, and it's all connected, but something is wrong. It doesn't work. So the concert starts in 2 hours and it's critical. Something is wrong. Yes, we get these support phone calls now and then. And yes, we can repair the products if something is wrong with them. But in probably more than 80% of the times this happen, it's something to do with the cleaning and handling of the fiber itself. It's nothing wrong with the product. And our customer tells us that yes, they have cleaned it, but it still doesn't work. There's some signal glitching or package dropping for the Ethernet. Mysterious things can happen when a fiber connector is not good. So why not make a unit that our customers can use where you have all the measurements in one box means that you know where it is and you know how to operate it. And when you know how to operate it and you know where it is, then you use it. And the best test instrument is the one that you're using. So we made a Barn Doctor inspecting or fiber optic testing suite. This is all you need, and it's customized for Pro AV and broadcast. It gives you accurate measurements, and it's fast and easy. It's not a complicated thing to do. And even more important is gives you a visual indication when something is wrong, so you can easily see it. And that will change the habits of those who are operating fiber when they see how bad it actually is. I will show you that. So the Barn Doctor comes in two versions, the 2 rack unit and the 4 rack unit. The base frame, which is included when you order a frame, is a screen, of course, 2 USB ports, a microscope to use to verify and inspect the fiber tips, and connector transmitting visible light so you can see if there's a damage on the fiber somewhere. It's a optical source giving out a signal so you can measure what you receive in the other end, or you can use the fiber optical analyzer to see what you receive if you just loop it and you can check that specific cable. I will try to do some live inspection here now. So let's see if we can make it. This is a screensaver of a Barn Doctor. So this is the opening screen. I have some extra modules here. So that's why you see optical conduit and SIMTIP. But microscope, LC fiber is the standard modules that's always included. So I just want to show you a microscope. Now we're in the microscope view. And I insert an LC fiber. And this is how it looks. What you see now is the ceramic tip of the LC connector. So if I add some light into it, you see the center core, which is the actual fiber. And the light area in the middle is what is very important, that is clean. So this is not so bad. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to be used. So if I take this fiber out now and I touch it with my fingertip, just gently touch it, I put it back in my microscope, and I can promise you, I did take a shower today. This is how it looks now. I just touched it with my fingertip. And what you see now is grease, oil, and fat, dust from my fingertip. I just one single touch. And this happens when you do installations or reconfiguring, repatching your panels. You touch the fiber sometimes by accident. If you're not aware of it, this is happening. And when you squeeze 2 fiber ends together, these grease, dust, oil will smudge together, and you will just build up. And after some time, things will happen with your fiber network. It will not work well. First, it will just drop some packages, and later on, it will not work at all. When I see this picture, I will not touch fiber tip without cleaning anymore, because now I see how it looks. So I will change my habits now. And it's so easy to clean. I have you cannot see it now, but I have a cleaning cassette. I just took me 2 seconds to clean it, and it's back to normal. This is all you need to do to make sure you have a perfect fiber network that is always working. I told you we have an optical power source as well, together with I have a question. Any questions about the microscope? It can be used to inspect LC, SC, ST, PC, FC, and probably more fibers. So it's not only for LC. If I want to inspect a fiber cable and to measure if it's connection between A and B, I have the source, the 1310 source, and I have an analyzer. So if I add a fiber, this is what I can see, and this is all I need to know. I can see that this fiber is good enough. And if I want to measure a lot of fiber cables, I can just set to 0. So this is a relative measurement. And if I now insert another fiber, I will see if it's 0.0 dB as well, or if it's maybe -7, then the next one is not good. So I'm using this fiber now as a reference. So this is always included in a barn doctor, but this is more or less common instruments that you might have already. You just don't know where it is, and you need many instruments to do the same thing. Now you have packed it into one instrument that is placed in a specific place in your TV station or in your orbit truck, so you know where it is. So it's much easier to inspect your cable. But I told you this is customized for Pro AV and broadcast. So we have extra modules, and that's why this is a 2 rack unit version and a 4 rack unit version, depending how many modules or optional modules you want to insert.
Med omsikt.
Optional modules, and we have tried to use the most common used optical connectors than being used in OB trucks in broadcast installations. So the first one is an optical con duo. This is the one we are using on barn doctor, barn color and barn palette. So what you do when you are a rental company or an event company, you have an installation, you have a gig, and you bring all the equipment back in the end into the warehouse. And what probably most people do, they just put them in the shelf ready for next time without knowing the quality of the fiber cable. So what you can do is to just use the optical con duo module. I want to go live again. Optical con duo, select it. I insert my cable drum in the 2 connectors, and this is what I see. I can see that there's an optical connection between A and B, it's a straight connection, and I can see that the optical loss is almost nothing. So this is perfect. Now I can put it back in my shelf, and I know it's gonna work next time. If you're making these cables, you can also inspect if that you did the correct connection. So now I crossed the cables, and I can see something is wrong. The optical levels are still good, but it's crossed, and it's not supposed to be. The same will be for the optical quad. But this time you, of course, see all the four fibers between. A very easy way to confirm if the cable is good enough to be used next time. And of course, if it's not, all you need is cleaning. The next one is probably the most popular module and the most advanced module, the SIMT. It's a very common used connector and cable, the hybrid cable. I will go live again. I select SIMT. I can see the crossing here as well, if it's correctly connected from A to B. I can read the optical attenuation in the cable. But with this cable, I can also do the copper testing. It's an automatic ohming the copper, so I can see the resistance in copper, both on the power connectors, power threads, and the shield. I can see if it is connected correctly, if I haven't switched the power connectors or similar. And if everything is green, well, then everything is okay. You see on my second picture in the bottom, I just, for the example, switched power minus and plus, and it gives a red indicator that something is wrong here. But still, I have a good optical connection. Yes, Tommy.
So when you check the cable, you know which end has the issue? Because at the beginning, when I see barn doctor, expected it should be in portable, not like rack mount to move. If you have different panels and you want to check different fiber cables in different places, you need to go there and check.
Yeah.
But if you have a certain place, that means you can check which end has the issue.
The SIMT cables is normally on a drum, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you will check both ends at the same place.
And for the fiber, the duplex.
Sorry?
For the other one, for the duplex, for the fiber.
You
For
also
the
check
LC, for the LC, for example, or LC cables.
Yeah. You can check both ends at the same place before you install it, or you can, like the LC, if you have the power meter on the LC, you can bring a power meter to the other end and just see if you get the signal through. Or maybe you want to use, for example, a barn mini just to in the other end, just to give you a signal and measure it on your barn doctor side. So yes, you can use it in different end as well. And it is not a portable unit, but maybe we will get some module-based portable units in the future. I don't know. Could be.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the SIMT version, and I have seen similar units trying to measure hybrid SIMT cable before. One big advantage is if this SIMT cable, the hybrid cable, is connected to a CCU in the other end, and you connect their machines to it. Something very expensive things are happening. So the Barn Doctor with the SIMD module is fault-proof if it's connected to a CCU by accident in the other end. It will immediately disconnect and give you a warning that you're not doing this. You are now adding 300 voltage into the back to the CPU, and it's dangerous. So it's a fault-proof unit as well. So I think that was my 45 minutes through. We have went through the Barn Mini, Barn 1, Barn Color, Barn Palette, and Barn Doctor. If any questions, please ask the experienced guys at BeamCast, or if any technical questions, we are happy to assist you here from Norway. And if there's any questions now, please ask. Anything you want to add in, Elaine?
Not from my side, but we are we are joining this year's IBC. So if any of you are visiting the show, please pay us a visit at the show. And also we have a happy hour Sunday in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, where we are actually giving out gifts with a lucky draw to have the chance to win a free pair of Barn Color SDI. So please be our guest and good luck. Thank you for joining us for the webinar.
Thank you, everybody. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Have a
And
great
have
day.
a great
Thank you all.
day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
انا دكتور صراحه اشرح لي سؤالك ما في مثل. شو سؤالك كان؟ شو بدك تعرف؟ دلوقتي هو عايز يعني هو بيتست الكابل بيعرف انهي اند اللي فيها المشكله ولا المشكله هو بيقول لك هنضف الكلام. طب هو لو الناحيه الثانيه الطرف الثاني ما في مشكله تعرف ازاي؟ لو بورتبل هقدر امشي بيه واروح اقيس اكتر من